DFW Close-Up, I'm joined by the truly inspirational Lindsay. He's a communications director of Dallas Lighthouse, an author, motivational speaker. The list goes on. He recently dove out of a plane to inspire others to dive into their goals and challenges in the new year. Oh, and by the way, he's blind. What a perfect day to come the day after New Year's. Thanks so much for being here. Happy New Year.
I'm delighted to be here.
Tell us, how did this whole idea come about?
I was speaking to a group of seniors in high school at Camp Enterprise, and that's a Rotary-sponsored camp. And we really had a good time talking about a lot of things that I had done. And they said, well, is there anything that you haven't done that you want to do? And I thought, well, skydiving. I've never done skydiving, and I always wanted to. I never really wanted to bungee jump that much, but I thought it sure would be fun to fall out of about a 13,500-foot sky, you know, and it was just as wonderful as I knew it would be. It was my highlight for 2010.
So why did you do it?
Well, I knew that it would inspire people to dive into their goals, into their challenges, to face their fears. But I really get excited about goal setting because I've had so much success the last 6 or 7 years of setting a couple of goals, just a big stretch goal, one that's going to take some effort, and then a good common sense goal that I know that I'm going to be able to easily reach without a big game plan.
Right.
But by doing that on New Year's and then again on my birthday, then I could accomplish 4 goals, and of course I try to maintain the success that I had from last year. In other words, the goals that I set, if there are improvements in my life, I try to maintain those. But I knew if I skydove that people would think about that. I need to dive into my goals, my challenges, and be fearless and take that first step. I like what Joe Sabah says. He says you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And a lot of people just don't want to take that first step for whatever reason. They talk about it, and then to write up on it, it's like, oh man, this is going to take some effort.
So what did that feel like, that wind pushing up on your face?
That was so exciting. I know I looked like an old man because my face began to wrinkle. I was going so fast. But I hit the air doing 120 miles an hour. So you hit the air really, really fast. And so it's kind of a shock for 2 seconds. And then your body immediately begins to adapt to that. And so in no time, I was having a blast. I was free falling.
Right.
And you don't feel like you're going straight down because you're actually going tummy first. So you hold your body in a way that you're moving forward, and it feels like you're flying. It's as close to flying as you could possibly. I mean, you feel like a bird because your arms are spread out, and you can feel that air, and man, it feels great.
So then what about this landing? Here you are about to land. Your feet are out. Did they prepare you for this really well?
They certainly did. The day before.
There you go. You landed. You did it. What did that feel like?
It felt great. It was just, it was a relief, but it was also such a fun, exciting thing that my heart was beating so fast. I could feel my heart just zipping. You know, it was just really boom, boom, boom. But it was really fun to free fall. And then they showed me the day before. I went in and did a 30-minute training with Ernie Long. Ernie's my tandem guy. He's the guy that went behind me. And he said, now, Blake, it's imperative that you hold your body this way and that you let your knees absorb most of the shock. And we're going to slide in on our high knees. And he thought that that'd be the easiest way to go because it was going to be a nice day. 8 to 10 miles an hour is what the wind was. 88 degrees on Earth. But you know what?
Beautiful.
It's 58.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's 30 degrees cooler at 13,500 feet, which is really fun.
Wow.
You hit that air at 58 degrees, and then, you know, at about 5,000 feet, then you can feel it getting warmer and warmer. And then you're back to 88, of course, you know, at last couple of thousand feet.
And then you also talk about how you did lose hearing at the very, very beginning.
I did.
Why does that, do you know why that happens?
Well, you're falling so quickly. You know, in a plane, a lot of times you can yawn and you have time because you're going a lot slower. But I tell you what, I lost about all of my hearing.
Wow.
However, as soon as my parachute deployed at 3,000 feet, I began to swallow and swallow, and I was getting it back. It's kind of funny. I was yawning. I tried to yawn to get it back when I was free falling, and my cheeks started flapping. You know, it's because you're going so fast. And so that had to look kind of funny. And I kind of licked my lip a little bit, you know, because I needed to moisten my dry lips. And so it looked kind of silly, but, you know, it was just so much fun. And then at 3,000 feet when the parachute deployed, within 10 seconds, I had most of my hearing back. And so Ernie and I could talk to each other.
Wow.
And he was able to do a lot of tricks and then swing to the left real fast and swing to the right. Anything he wanted to do with the strings by controlling the strings.
Neat.
And so that was a blast. He did a lot of maneuvers that were that made it extra exciting for me.
So I also want to talk about what you do with Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind. And you have been blind since you were 9 months old. But
Correct.
you help people who have lost it later in life.
I do. I get the big opportunity to really talk to a lot of people who are going sightless later in life. And I say, hey, if you got to be blind, now's the time, because we've got assistive technology like we've never had it before. In the past 25 years, they have advanced so many things that I can get on and I can Google anybody I want to. I can do all kinds of research via internet. because I have something called Job Access with Speech. We call it JAWS for short.
Right.
And we are able to hear everything that's text-based. And so it's really, it's fun to go to internet's websites, you know, that you have, even the 33. I can go and look at KDAF and all about you and read about your show. And so any research that I want to do, I just get on the internet and do that. Totally blind people could not do that back in the early 80s. It was about 1991, 92 when it started becoming you know, more popular, and in really the late 90s is when everything got to where I could understand it clearly, and the speech is flawless. It's got some expression to it, and it's a lot of fun to use JAWS.
What I also love is that you talk about the benefits of being blind.
The benefits are the inspiration. The power of inspiration is incredible, because by doing my job well, I've inspired people at Bank of America, where I worked for 7 years. I worked at KISS FM, got to work with Kid Craddock, and had a good time at KHKS. And we had such a good time from 94 through 2001 I was there. And people would come in and they would let me, they would look at me as I was running my own controls. They thought, wow, if a blind guy can do this, I can do it. Absolutely. And so at the bank, they let me train sighted people and blind people. I was the first blind guy in customer service at Bank of America, former Nations Bank. And so they gave me an opportunity. They decided to focus on my ability and not my disability. And they made a big difference in my life, and then I was able to turn around and make that the win-win partnership that it ought to be.
Great. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, it's been fun, Erin.
For more information about Blake Lindsay and a skydive, type in blakelindsay.com. And if you're interested in learning more about Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind, visit dallaslighthouse.org. We'll mention these websites again at the end of the show.